Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Welcome back to our channel. After a comprehensive overview about the 46 types of angels created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are now moving towards Angel Shukril, the angel testing through thankfulness. Angel Shukril is the celestial being assigned by Allah to govern the spiritual trials of gratitude and appreciation. In the divine scheme, every blessing bestowed upon creation, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional, is accompanied by the demand for conscious recognition and thankfulness. Shukril's role is not merely to observe human acts of gratitude, but to test the depth, sincerity, and constancy of thankfulness in the believer's heart. These are the beings of unfathomable might, created from the most luminous light of Nur Muhammadi, meaning the divine light of Prophet Muhammad. From a Sufi perspective, thankfulness, meaning Shukr, is far more than verbal praise. It is an inner state of luminous acknowledgement where the heart resonates with the divine presence in every moment. Angel Shukril, therefore, oversees the subtle movements of the heart, measuring how sincerely one recognizes blessings, responds to trials with gratitude, and transforms gifts into acts of devotion. In moments of ease, wealth, or abundance, Shukril tests whether humans remain humble and grateful rather than indulgent or heedless. During hardship, this angel examines whether one can maintain gratitude despite adversity, acknowledging that even trials are divine gifts for spiritual growth. In Islamic cosmology, Shukril is closely linked with the subtle spiritual faculties of the heart. Tasawwufi masters describe this angel as radiant and luminous, emitting a light that reveals the hidden layers of the soul, highlighting areas where thankfulness may be absent or incomplete. By guiding the heart towards conscious recognition of Allah's mercy and bounty, Shukril encourages a continual alignment of the nafs, heart, and spirit with divine will. This angel's influence is pivotal in nurturing inner contentment, humility, and spiritual refinement, ensuring that the human soul grows in gratitude as a reflection of its Creator's infinite generosity. Shukril's presence reminds believers that gratitude is a spiritual shield, protecting against ingratitude, arrogance, and the spiritual corrosion caused by forgetfulness of Allah's blessings. It is through the conscious cultivation of thankfulness, whether in thought, word, or deed, that Shukril's test is passed, allowing the believer to access deeper states of divine proximity and spiritual illumination. This angel's mission extends beyond individuals to prophetic guidance, as prophets themselves were continuously tested in their capacity to demonstrate gratitude for both divine favors and challenges, serving as exemplars for all humankind. Before going further, a quick update. All our videos are available in both English and Urdu languages on our YouTube channel. You can find them by navigating to our playlists, where all our videos are available for your convenience. Now let's continue. Quranic and Hadith mentions. In Surah Ibrāhīm verse 7, Allah states, "If you are grateful, I will certainly give you more, but if you are ungrateful, indeed my punishment is severe." This verse indicates that angels like Shukril oversee human gratitude, measuring the sincerity of hearts in response to Allah's blessings. In Surah Al-Baqarah verse 152, Allah mentions, "So remember me, I will remember you, and be grateful to me and do not be ungrateful." The act of remembering and expressing gratitude is seen as spiritually supervised, implying angelic oversight. In Surah Luqman verse 12, Allah mentions, "And we gave Luqman wisdom, be grateful to Allah, And whoever is grateful, he is grateful for himself. This verse hints at angels monitoring the alignment of wisdom, heart, and grateful actions. In Surah Al-Insan verses 3 to 4, Allah mentions, "We guided him to the way, whether he is grateful or ungrateful. Surely we have prepared for the disbelievers chains, collars of fire, and for the grateful are gardens beneath which rivers flow." Gratitude is directly linked to spiritual reward or punishment, with angels recording and supervising these states. In Surah An-Nahl verse 18, Allah mentions, "And if you should count the favors of Allah, you could not enumerate them." The unseen accounting of blessings implies the role of celestial beings in noting human recognition of divine gifts. In Sahih Muslim, Hadith 2999, the Prophet said, "Allah has appointed angels to watch over people, noting every deed and intention. Among them are those who observe gratitude and ingratitude." This hadith forms the basis for the concept of Shukrīl as the angel responsible for monitoring thankfulness. Sunan Abu Dawud, Hadith 4765, the Prophet said, "The angels bring glad tidings to those who are grateful and admonish those who are ungrateful." Sufis interpret this as Shukril's active role in spiritual guidance and test of gratitude. In Jami'iyya at-Tirmidhi, Hadith 2517, the Prophet said, "Verily, Allah loves that His servants recognize His favors and be thankful. Angels record such recognition, and He elevates them in ranks." The Hadith emphasizes the angelic supervision of thankfulness, assigning a spiritual rank to those who pass this test. In Al-Hakim Mustadrak, Hadith 155, 2, gratitude increases blessings, and every blessing unacknowledged is recorded by the angels and noted with care by Allah. Scholars link this recording to Shukril's role in monitoring human hearts and deeds. Hazrat Ibn Kathir's Tafsir mentions angels that oversee human actions of gratitude and ingratitude, although specific names are not given. Hazrat Ibn Arabi and other Tasawwufi masters identify Shukrīl as the angel who operates invisibly within the heart's light, testing whether the soul responds to divine favors with true thankfulness. Hazrat Imam Ghazali explains that Shukril's observation ensures that gratitude is not merely verbal but inner and reflective, aligning intention, feeling, and action. In essence, Quranic verses and hadiths collectively establish the principle that angels like Shukrīl are appointed to oversee the spiritual dimension of gratitude, ensuring that humans not only acknowledge Allah's favors but do so with sincerity, awareness, and constancy. In our previous videos, we also explored the verse on how Allah created every living thing from water, the creation of the waters above the dome and below the flat earth, the firmament dome above the flat earth, actual shape of the earth according to the Qur'an and Islamic cosmology, primordial waters of the heavens, the kursi, meaning the footstool of Allah, the arsh, meaning the throne of Allah, Law al-Mahfuz, meaning the sacred tablet, the second creation of Allah, Al-Kalam, why Allah created the universe, the first creation of Allah, the 7 portals and dimensions of the universe, and discussed where Allah was before He created the universe. If you haven't watched them yet, please do. Now, let's continue. Description and numbers. Angel Shukril, as recognized in classical Tasawwufi cosmology, is a celestial being whose very essence is intertwined with the divine light of gratitude. Unlike angels who govern physical phenomena or protection, Shukrīl is primarily concerned with the inner state of the heart, observing whether humans acknowledge Allah's countless favors with sincere recognition, verbal praise, and practical acts of thankfulness. His form, according to Tasawwufi masters, is luminous yet subtle, often described as a radiant presence surrounding the spiritual heart of believers, invisible to ordinary eyes but perceptible to those with heightened spiritual insight, meaning kashaf. The glow of Shukril's light is said to mirror the intensity of the gratitude in a person's heart, bright for the truly thankful, dim or absent where ingratitude resides. Regarding numbers, classical Sufi sources such as Hazrat Ibn Arabi and Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani suggest that Shukrīl is not singular in function. Rather, there exists a host of subordinate angels working under his guidance, each tasked with monitoring specific dimensions of gratitude. These angels collectively track verbal, emotional, and practical expressions of thankfulness, ensuring that both internal acknowledgement and outward deeds are in alignment. Some sources describe tens of thousands of these angels accompanying Shukril, each assigned to a region, a community, or even an individual believer, forming a comprehensive celestial network. Tasawwufi masters emphasize that Shukril's existence is intrinsically linked to the believer's spiritual state. Where true thankfulness flourishes, his light expands and empowers the soul. Where ingratitude festers, his observation becomes a silent admonition. Unlike punitive angels who act outwardly, Shukril's influence is subtle, shaping the believer's consciousness, guiding the heart to recognize divine blessings and serving as a bridge between the seen and unseen worlds. His presence ensures that thankfulness is more than a ritual. It becomes a transformative spiritual force, fostering inner contentment, humility, and alignment with divine will. In essence, Shukril is a radiant, vigilant host, consisting of the principal angel and a legion of subordinate helpers whose sole purpose is to observe, nurture, and amplify human gratitude, linking each act of recognition to spiritual elevation and divine reward. Role with the prophets. With Prophet Adam, Shukril observed Adam's recognition of Allah's mercy after being placed in paradise and his subsequent repentance after the slip from it. This angel's influence cultivated a deep sense of gratitude in Adam, teaching him that awareness of divine favor is the foundation of spiritual responsibility. With Prophet Nuh, during the trials of the flood, Shukril guided Nuh in maintaining gratitude for the sustenance and protection provided, reinforcing patience and thankfulness even amid catastrophic adversity. With Prophet Ibrāhīm, Shukril's light shone when Ibrahim gratefully accepted Allah's commands, such as leaving Hajar and Ismail in the desert and preparing to submit to the sacrifice, ensuring that every act of obedience was accompanied by recognition of divine mercy. With Prophet Ismail, while standing ready for the divine command of sacrifice, Shukril reinforced thankfulness in Ismail's heart, transforming the trial into a profound demonstration of grateful submission. With Prophet Musa, during the Exodus and confrontations with Pharaoh, Shukril ensured that Musa's reliance on Allah was coupled with gratitude for guidance, miracles, and the eventual liberation of his people. This spiritual reinforcement allowed Musa to inspire thankfulness in the Israelites even amid hardships. With Prophet Dawood, Shukril illuminated Dawood's recognition of Allah's favor when granted kingship. The Psalms, also called Zabur, and victories, ensuring that gratitude guided both his rulings and personal devotion. With Prophet Sulaiman, in the governance over jinn, animals, and natural forces, Shukril highlighted the divine origin of all power, encouraging Sulaiman to remain grateful, and teaches subjects the importance of acknowledging divine gifts. With Prophet Zakaria and Prophet Yahya, the angel instilled thankfulness for the miraculous birth of Yahya, emphasizing that recognition of Allah's favor strengthens faith and patience amid societal challenges. With Prophet Isa, Shukril guided Isa in acknowledging every miracle and divine provision, ensuring that gratitude permeated his teachings and interactions with followers. With Prophet Muhammad, from childhood to prophethood, Shukril's presence underscored moments of divine grace, the protection in infancy, guidance in trials, and assistance during battles, ensuring that gratitude remains central in all actions. This included the nurturing of his companions' recognition of blessings, reinforcing communal thankfulness alongside personal devotion. In every prophetic life, Shukril did not intervene physically, but worked through the illumination of consciousness, enhancing the prophet's awareness of divine favors and reinforcing thankfulness as both a personal and communal virtue. His role ensured that the practice of gratitude became both a spiritual discipline and a transformative force, shaping prophetic example for humanity across generations. Tasawwuf and Tariqat symbolism. 1. Symbol of the illuminated heart. In Tasawwufi cosmology, Shukril represents the light of gratitude within the heart, meaning Nur al-Qalb. This light functions as a spiritual compass, guiding the seeker toward recognition of Allah's constant favors. Every divine blessing, whether subtle or manifest, is perceived as a token of mercy, and Shukril's presence amplifies the heart's capacity to receive and reflect this light. Sufi masters often describe this as the spark that awakens the qalb, turning ordinary perception into a profound sense of reverential awareness. 2. Inner purification through gratitude. Shukril is seen as the angelic force that purifies spiritual consciousness through the practice of thankfulness. In Tariqat, disciples are taught that external obedience is incomplete without an internal sense of appreciation. Every act of genuine gratitude, whether expressed in speech, thought, or action, draws Shukril's energy into the heart, gradually cleansing the soul of negative traits like arrogance, discontent, and envy. This is why Sufis often link Shukril to the spiritual station, meaning Maqam of Shukr, a level of consciousness marked by constant remembrance and acknowledgement of divine mercy. 3. Catalyst for mystical union. Beyond moral cultivation, Shukril serves as a subtle intermediary between the heart and the divine presence. Sufis teach that through heartfelt gratitude, the seeker aligns their inner states with the realities of divine love. The angel acts as a conduit of divine light, transforming ordinary acts of thankfulness into mystical experiences of intimacy with Allah. In this sense, Shukril is not merely a symbolic figure, but a realized spiritual force in the inner world of the aspirant. 4. Esoteric connection to breath and sustenance. Shukril is intimately linked with the spiritual significance of life sustenance and the rhythm of the soul's breath. Each breath becomes a reminder of the divine, and each portion of sustenance is an opportunity to exercise gratitude. Sufi practitioners often meditate on the inner presence of Shukril during acts of eating, drinking, and daily tasks, cultivating a continuous awareness of divine provision. In esoteric terms, this connects the microcosm of the human heart with the macrocosm of divine mercy, bridging the visible and invisible worlds. 5. Guarding against spiritual deficiency. One of Shukril's symbolic roles is to protect the heart from spiritual deficiency. Sufis assert that without the angelic influence of gratitude, the soul becomes vulnerable to heedlessness and moral decay. By consciously acknowledging blessings and offering sincere thanks, the seeker maintains alignment with Shukril's guiding energy, ensuring that the heart remains receptive, pure, and spiritually fortified. 6. Integration in Tariqat practices. In Tariqat, Shukril's influence is cultivated through structured spiritual exercises, dhikr of gratitude and repetition of phrases expressing thanks to Allah, contemplation of divine favors and reflecting on every aspect of creation and life as a gift, incorporating gratitude in daily acts and transforming routine actions into conscious acknowledgements of divine mercy. These practices enhance the seeker's awareness, inviting Shukril's subtle presence to illuminate and elevate the inner states of the soul. Commentaries from Tasawwufi masters. 1. Imam al-Ghazali. Imam al-Ghazali emphasizes that gratitude, meaning shukr, is the foundation of all spiritual realization, and Shukril is the angelic embodiment of this principle. In Ihya Ulum al-Din, he explains that when the heart acknowledges blessings consciously, Shukril descends upon the soul, illuminating its faculties and purifying it from inward negligence. Imam al-Ghazali writes that Shukril serves as a spiritual mirror, reflecting divine mercy back into the heart of the seeker, and that without this angelic mediation, the external acts of worship are incomplete, as true gratitude must penetrate deeply into the soul. He further explains that Shukril's guidance is particularly active in the stages of spiritual intoxication and sobriety, where subtle faculties of the heart discern divine gifts more clearly. 2. Hazrat Ibn Arabi. The Sheikh Al-Akbar, Hazrat Ibn Arabi, describes Shukril as a celestial archetype that aligns the human soul with the eternal realities of divine generosity. In his writings, especially Futuhat al-Makkiyah, he portrays this angel as a subtle intermediary who activates the heart's capacity to receive divine grace, transforming simple thankfulness into profound mystical illumination. Hazrat Ibn Arabi links Shukril to the concept of the breath of mercy, noting that each act of gratitude is a channel through which the soul communes directly with Allah. He emphasizes that the angel operates not only in observable acts of shukr, but in the hidden inward recognition of divine beneficence, making it a constant, pervasive influence in the life of the adept. 3. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. The saint of all saints, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani regards Shukril as a guardian of the grateful heart. In his commentary, he stresses that those who neglect the cultivation of gratitude expose themselves to spiritual barrenness. According to Hazrat Jilani, Shukril ensures that blessings, both material and spiritual, are acknowledged, and he intercedes to increase divine favors for those who practice sincere shukr. The Sheikh elaborates that through daily remembrance and mindfulness, Shukril fortifies the heart against arrogance and discontent, thereby maintaining a flow of divine support in every action of the seeker. 4. Hazrat Shams Tabriz. The spiritual master of Maulana Rumi, Hazrat Shams Tabriz emphasizes the experiential reality of Shukril. He notes that the angel is not merely symbolic, but an active spiritual force that awakens the heart to constant awareness of divine gifts. According to Hazrat Shams, the heart that acknowledges Shukril's presence becomes a receptive lamp, attracting divine guidance and protection. He teaches that gratitude, when coupled with love for Allah, allows Shukril to illuminate the seeker's inner world, revealing the subtle connections between providence, patience, and spiritual ascent. Shams also stresses that neglecting gratitude diminishes the soul's capacity to experience these angelic blessings. 5. Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. The disciple of Hazrat Shams, Maulana Rumi portrays Shukrīl poetically as the hidden minstrel of the heart, awakening the soul to its innate inclination toward divine love. In the Mathnawi, he likens the angel to a secret musician whose melodies of gratitude stir the heart into joyous recognition of the Creator. Hazrat Rumi emphasizes that Shukrīl operates in both the ordinary and mystical spheres. In the mundane act of eating or working, the angel fosters awareness of Allah's provision. In mystical ecstasy, Shukrīl amplifies the soul's capacity to perceive divine beauty. Hazrat Rumi also links Shukrīl to the inner discipline of the heart, suggesting that the angelic presence is most palpable in those who consistently engage in self-reflection and dhikr. Possibility of them. 1. Seeing them in real life. While angels are generally unseen by humans in the physical world, many Tasawwufi masters note that certain spiritually elevated individuals may perceive angels like Shukri in subtle, ethereal forms. In real life, the perception of Shukri is not through ordinary sensory sight, but through an awakening of the heart and the spiritual faculties. The angel may appear as a radiant presence, sometimes in light or subtle color, or a serene, comforting figure, especially at moments when the soul is consciously expressing profound gratitude. Such experiences are often fleeting, requiring the seeker to maintain purity of intention, constant dhikr, and mindfulness of divine blessings, as the angelic presence is drawn to hearts actively cultivating shukr. Historical Sufi narratives describe individuals feeling a sudden influx of warmth, light, or inner joy, which they interpret as the direct, near presence of Shukril, facilitating their awareness of Allah's gifts. 2. Seeing them in dreams. Dreams are a more common medium through which angels reveal themselves. Shukril may appear in a dream bestowing symbols of light, gifts, or illumination, representing the opening of the heart to divine bounty. Classical Sufi texts explain that the dream vision of Shukril often comes after periods of deep reflection, prayer, and acts of gratitude, signaling that the seeker's heart has resonated with the angel's purpose. The angel may appear holding an object of symbolic meaning, such as a lamp, a scroll, or a radiant garment, each representing aspects of spiritual nourishment and the cultivation of shukr. Interpreters like Hazrat Ibn Arabi and Rumi suggest that such dreams indicate a readiness in the soul to perceive hidden divine realities and serve as encouragement to continue on the spiritual path with sincerity. Dreams of Shukril are considered blessings in themselves, reflecting the mercy of Allah through the angelic messenger, inspiring the dreamer to remain in gratitude. 3. Seeing them through kashf, meaning spiritual unveiling. The most profound perception of Shukril occurs through kashf, or spiritual unveiling, where the inner eye, meaning basira of the soul, perceives realities beyond ordinary perception. In such states, often achieved after prolonged spiritual discipline, meditation, or guidance from a Kamil Murshid, Shukril may appear as pure luminous light or a form of divine radiance, facilitating deep insights into the workings of gratitude, mercy, and the reciprocity between divine provision and human acknowledgement. Tasawwufi masters like Hazrat Abdul Qadir Jilani and Hazrat Shams Tabriz explain that the angel operates as an intermediary in the spiritual cosmos, making tangible the otherwise invisible effects of thankfulness. The perception of Shukril in Kashif often precedes inner inspiration, sudden understanding, or the unlocking of spiritual faculties, enabling the seeker to act with wisdom and heightened awareness of divine blessings. Such experiences are considered rare and require complete sincerity, purity of heart, and readiness to receive angelic guidance, as any distraction of ego or attachment can prevent this subtle communication. Role in the grave. In the grave, Angel Shukril plays a subtle yet profound role in nurturing the soul's reflection on gratitude and divine favors. Classical Sufi sources describe that Shukril accompanies the soul immediately after burial, encouraging the remembrance of Allah and fostering an inner awareness of blessings that may have been overlooked in worldly life. The angel manifests as a luminous presence or a gentle, calming energy, surrounding the grave with light that counteracts darkness, both physical and spiritual. This illumination is said to protect the soul from anxiety, fear, and spiritual distress, especially for those whose hearts were inclined toward gratitude in life. Hadith-inspired traditions suggest that those who consistently practice shukr during their lifetime may perceive the angel as a comforting companion who reinforces the spiritual consequences of thankfulness and mitigates the questioning of munkar and nakir. In Tasawwufi symbolism, this stage represents the soul's initial awakening to its true value and the refinement of its moral consciousness, with Shukril serving as the guiding presence that aligns the soul toward divine grace even in death. Role in Barzakh. During the period of Barzakh, the intermediate realm between death and resurrection, Shukril assumes a more active and instructive function. Tasawwufi teachings highlight that the angel aids in calibrating the soul's perception of divine blessings and the effects of ingratitude, reinforcing the lessons of shukr learned in life. Shukril's presence illuminates the spiritual corridors of Barzakh, helping the soul navigate unseen realities and the unseen workings of Allah's mercy. In esoteric interpretations, this angel ensures that the energetic imprint of gratitude remains embedded in the soul, preparing it for the eventual reckoning on Qiyamah. Accounts from Tasawwufi masters describe experiences where souls receive visions of divine favors mediated by the angel, reminding them of both their worldly responsibilities and the eternal consequences of their gratitude or negligence. Here, Shukril acts as a moral compass, amplifying the spiritual vibrations of shukr while exposing the emptiness left by ingratitude, thus shaping the soul's preparedness for divine judgment. Role on Qiyamah. On Qiyamah, Angel Shukril's function becomes even more cosmically significant, extending to the weighing of deeds and the spiritual illumination of the resurrected. Tasawwufi interpretations suggest that Shukril assists in highlighting acts of gratitude and thankfulness on the mizan, the divine scale, amplifying the spiritual merit of those who practice shukr sincerely and reducing the burden of sins for those whose thankfulness was partial but genuine. The angel may also guide souls across the Sirat, ensuring that the illumination gained through gratitude acts as a support during the soul's traversal, akin to spiritual armor against the trials of reckoning. Classical Tasawwufi texts indicate that the angel's presence transforms the inner light of the soul, making acts of shukr visible to the divine in their full essence, thus influencing the ultimate outcomes of judgment. Shukril's involvement on Qiyamah reflects the cosmic significance of gratitude itself. It is not merely a moral act, but a fundamental force that affects the spiritual geometry of the universe, where each act of sincere thankfulness resonates across realms, supported and recorded by angelic intervention. This long view of Shukril's roles from the grave to Barzakh and finally Qiyamah underscores that the angel of thankfulness is not passive. Instead, he is an active guardian of the soul's spiritual memory, a calibrator of moral consciousness and a mediator of divine mercy, demonstrating that gratitude in life has direct and profound consequences beyond the material world, connecting the seeker to both spiritual fulfillment and cosmic order. Protection and awareness through a Kamil Murshid. In Tasawwufi and Tariqat tradition, the guidance of a Kamil Murshid, a perfect spiritual guide, is indispensable for cultivating awareness of angel Shukril and ensuring that the soul aligns with the path of gratitude. The Murshid instructs disciples to develop constant mindfulness, meaning muraqabah of Allah's favors, teaching them how to internalize Shukr as a daily spiritual practice. By observing the guidance of the Murshid, a seeker can fortify their heart against ingratitude, which is considered a form of spiritual vulnerability that diminishes the light of Shukril. Practices may include daily reflection on blessings, recitation of selected Quranic verses, and silent contemplation of Allah's providence, all of which increase the soul's receptivity to the angelic presence. The Murshid also emphasizes ethical vigilance, instructing that acts of thankfulness must extend beyond ritual worship into every aspect of life, including interpersonal behavior, generosity, and humility. The presence of Shukrīl is said to intensify in the heart of the disciple who consistently observes these practices, serving as a spiritual guardian who illuminates the soul and protects it from heedlessness and moral decline. A Murshid awakens the seeker to the reality that every breath is a form shaped by zikr. By teaching breath zikr, the Murshid transforms the human into a being of continuous remembrance, surpassing angels. A Kamil Murshid, meaning a perfect spiritual guide, is considered in Tasawwuf the inheritor of the Prophet, guiding seekers on the path from clay, meaning nafs, to light, meaning ruh. The Kamil Murshid helps awaken this nafas al-Rahman, meaning breath of the All-Merciful, within the disciple. Also as stated in Surah Kaf, verse 17, whoever Allah guides is truly guided, but whoever He leaves to stray, you will never find for them a Murshid, meaning a spiritual guide. Angels are always in dhikr, but their dhikr is fixed and limited to the forms Allah gave them. Man, however, through guidance of a Murshid, can transform his every breath into dhikr, making his remembrance continuous like angels, and even higher because it comes through free will. In Tariqat, the Murshid teaches Habs al-Nafas, meaning watching the breath, and Zikr Khafi, meaning silent dhikr. Every inhalation and every exhalation affirms Allah and He alone. This makes the seeker live in the constant rhythm of divine presence. Through the Qur'an provides numerous injunctions for gratitude which simultaneously foster awareness of angel Shukrīl. Verses such as in Surah 14 verse 7, if you are grateful, I will certainly increase you in favor. In Surah 16 verse 114, then eat of what Allah has provided you and be grateful to Him. Serve as spiritual frameworks to cultivate thankfulness. Regular recitation, reflection, meaning tafakkur, and incorporation of these verses in daily life act as a shield against the spiritual perils of ingratitude, drawing the angelic presence nearer. In Sufi exegesis, these verses are not only moral directives but energetic signals that attract the angel's guidance, making the light of Shukril perceptible in the inner heart. Practitioners are encouraged to connect specific verses with moments of reflection on blessings, thereby invoking divine mercy and activating the angelic support that safeguards the soul. Through du'as, supplications for cultivating gratitude and drawing angelic presence are highly emphasized in Tasawwufi practice. Recommended du'as include Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, repeated mindfully, acknowledging all blessings of Allah, seeking forgiveness, and acknowledging divine favors through Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahil Azim. Invocations that link each blessing to Allah's mercy act as invitations for Shukrīl to accompany the seeker. These practices are considered spiritual protocols, ensuring that the soul remains connected to divine favor and the angelic reinforcement of Shukr. Acts to do: daily reflection on both major and minor blessings, avoiding arrogance, pride, and ignorance, as these are the traits of Iblis and Shayateen. Expressing verbal and silent gratitude after every act of worship and daily activity. Maintaining humility in success and patience in adversity. Offering charity and support to others as an extension of gratitude. Documenting and consciously acknowledging favors received to embed awareness in the heart. Acts to avoid: complaining about life circumstances or focusing excessively on loss. Neglecting obligatory and voluntary worship, which diminishes the perception of divine bounty. Harboring envy or greed, which blocks the angel's illumination of the heart. Forgetting to recognize small blessings, which weakens the spiritual bond with Shukrīl. Ingratitude toward others, as this reflects a distorted perception of Allah's mercy. So, dear viewers, Angel Shukril embodies the cosmic principle of gratitude, acting as a guardian, guide, and amplifier of spiritual awareness across all realms. Through the guidance of a Kamil Murshid, adherence to Quranic injunctions, mindful du'as, and disciplined practice of shukr, the seeker can safeguard their heart and soul while attracting the angel's luminous support. The angel's role, from life to the grave to barzakh and finally on Qiyamah, demonstrates that gratitude is not merely an ethical or ritual obligation, but a dynamic force that shapes spiritual reality, impacts the soul's journey, and resonates across the unseen cosmos. Practicing these acts with sincerity allows the seeker to access divine mercy, spiritual illumination, and protection from heedlessness, ultimately ensuring that the light of Shukrīl continues to guide the soul through both the visible and hidden dimensions of existence. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoy this content and find it beneficial, we kindly ask you to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more authentic, faith-strengthening content. And let's continue this journey of knowledge together. Insha'Allah, see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.